In the late 1970s, television audiences across America fell in love with a glamorous blonde actress who seemed to light up every scene she appeared in. Her name was Loni Anderson, and she became famous for playing Jennifer Marlowe on the hit sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. With her confident smile, elegant style, and sharp humor, she quickly became one of the most recognizable women on television. Fans admired her beauty, but they also loved how her character was intelligent, witty, and often the smartest person in the room. Posters of Anderson in a red swimsuit hung on bedroom walls across the country, and magazines called her one of the biggest television stars of the era. At the height of her fame, it seemed like she had everything: success, admiration, and a future filled with endless opportunities. But behind the bright lights of Hollywood and the glamorous image the public saw, Anderson's life would eventually become much more complicated and painful than anyone expected. Years after the show ended, shocking stories about her personal struggles would slowly come to light. These stories involved heartbreak, public humiliation, and a long battle to prove the truth about what had happened in her life. The woman who once looked like she had the perfect Hollywood story would later face some of the most difficult moments imaginable. Loni Anderson was born on August 5, 1945, in St. Paul, Minnesota. Her early life was far removed from the glamorous world she would later enter. Her father, Clayton Carl Anderson, worked as an environmental chemist, while her mother, Maxine Hazel Kell, had once worked as a model before settling into family life. Their home in the suburb of Roseville was full of personality and energy, but it also had challenges. Both of her parents were heavy smokers, and the house was often filled with thick cigarette smoke. Anderson later described those years as living in a constant haze. Despite that environment, she remembered her parents as loving and lively people who encouraged creativity and imagination. Her mother had a dramatic personality and loved fashion, often wearing elegant hats and stylish outfits even during everyday activities. Those early memories helped shape Anderson's love for glamour and performance. Even as a young girl, she noticed how appearance and confidence could change the way people were treated. During her teenage years, Anderson began to realize that she had a natural stage presence. She attended Alexander Ramsey High School, where her striking looks and friendly personality made her popular among classmates. In 1963, during her senior year, she was crowned Queen of the Valentine's Day Winter Formal. While it might have seemed like a small moment at the time, it was one of the first experiences that placed her in the spotlight. For Anderson, the crown represented more than just a school event. It was a glimpse of a future where she might stand on larger stages and receive recognition for her presence and charm. Around the same time, she began thinking seriously about what she wanted to do with her life. Acting and performing started to feel like real possibilities rather than distant dreams. After graduating from high school, Anderson attended the University of Minnesota, where she studied art and theater. College life brought new opportunities and new responsibilities. To help pay for school, she began entering local beauty pageants. At the time, pageants were a common way for young women to earn scholarship money and gain public exposure. Anderson proved to be very successful in these competitions. She won the title of Miss Roseville in 1963 and later competed in the Miss Minnesota pageant, where she finished as the first runner-up. These experiences helped her gain confidence in front of crowds and judges. More importantly, they helped her learn how the world of public image and entertainment worked. Every appearance, every smile, and every conversation mattered. Even though she did not yet realize it, these lessons would later help her navigate the complicated world of Hollywood. But life moved quickly for the young woman. In 1964, at only 18 years old, Anderson married Bruce Hasselberg. Just 1 year later, she became a mother when her daughter, Deidre, was born. Balancing college, marriage, and motherhood at such a young age was incredibly challenging. Many people might have chosen to give up their personal dreams in that situation, but Anderson continued trying to move forward. She finished her studies while caring for her child and looking for opportunities to perform in theater productions. However, the pressure of such a young marriage soon became too much. By 1966, the relationship had ended in divorce, leaving Anderson as a single mother at the age of 21. In that era, being a divorced single mother often brought judgment and difficulty. Employers and landlords sometimes viewed women in that position with suspicion. Still, Anderson refused to allow those obstacles to define her future. She worked hard, took jobs where she could, and continued searching for opportunities in acting. At the time, she had no way of knowing that the difficult path she was walking would eventually lead her toward one of the most famous roles in television history. After navigating the challenges of young motherhood and divorce, Loni Anderson refused to let setbacks define her future. She continued to pursue acting, taking on small roles in commercials and local theater productions while supporting herself and her daughter. The years from 1966 to 1975 were some of the hardest of her life. Casting directors often rejected her, telling her she didn't fit the specific type they wanted. At times, Anderson was only considered for roles based on her ethnicity or hair color, leaving her frustrated by Hollywood's superficial standards. To make ends meet, she worked odd jobs, sometimes teaching or performing in regional theater productions of plays like Fiddler on the Roof and Born Yesterday. Each role was a small step, but it reinforced her determination to succeed. She knew that every experience, every rejection, and every minor victory was shaping her craft and preparing her for bigger opportunities. In 1975, a small but pivotal change altered the course of Anderson's career. She purchased a blonde wig before auditioning for a role in a production of Born Yesterday. The transformation in her appearance gave casting directors a fresh impression of her, and for the first time, she landed the role she had long sought. This experience taught Anderson a crucial lesson about Hollywood. Image mattered, but talent and persistence could create opportunities even within restrictive systems. The wig became a symbol of her adaptability, demonstrating that she could navigate the industry's challenges while staying true to her abilities. While it may have seemed superficial to some, Anderson knew that seizing every chance to be seen and appreciated was part of her strategy for survival and eventual success. In 1974, she married actor Ross Bickle, and the two moved from Minnesota to Los Angeles in pursuit of acting careers. Initially, Bickle's resume was stronger, but over time, Anderson's opportunities began to grow. Guest appearances on shows like Policewoman, Barnaby Jones, Harry O, and Phyllis allowed her to gain experience and be noticed by casting directors. Each small role added credibility and kept her connected to the industry. However, it was a decade of relentless effort, often under difficult circumstances, that built the foundation for her eventual breakthrough. Anderson's story during these years illustrates the grit and determination that many aspiring actors need, but few are able to sustain over such a long period. Her personal resilience was just as important as her talent in shaping her path forward. The turning point in Anderson's career came in 1977 when she posed for a red swimsuit photograph. This image caught the attention of Hugh Wilson, a producer casting for a new sitcom at MTM Enterprises. Wilson was seeking someone who had both the glamour of classic Hollywood and the intelligence to stand out on screen. Initially hesitant to audition, fearing another shallow role, Anderson eventually agreed. For the role of Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati, she completed a full transformation into platinum blonde, enhancing her visibility and aligning with Wilson's vision. The audition led to an iconic role that would change her life. Jennifer Marlowe was not simply a pretty secretary. She was smart, confident, and capable of commanding attention without relying solely on appearance. This blend of charisma and intelligence made the character memorable and ensured that Anderson would become a recognizable figure in American television. When WKRP in Cincinnati premiered on CBS in September 1978, Anderson immediately drew public attention. Audiences were captivated not only by her beauty, but by her ability to play Jennifer Marlowe as a woman of substance. Critics praised her performance, and her peers in the industry recognized her skill. Viewers learned that Jennifer earned more than any of the station's male characters, highlighting both her value in the show and the changing perceptions of women in television. Off-screen, Anderson's popularity soared. Her red swimsuit poster became a bestseller, and she was invited to participate in interviews, television specials, and public appearances. At last, after more than a decade of struggle, Anderson had achieved the visibility and recognition she had long sought. However, fame brought new challenges. While she enjoyed professional success, Anderson faced pressures in her personal life. Balancing the demands of stardom with relationships and family obligations was not simple. In 1979, CBS moved the show's schedule multiple times, affecting ratings and putting additional stress on the cast. Despite these fluctuations, Anderson's performance remained consistent and compelling. She received multiple Emmy and Golden Globe nominations, proving that her talent extended beyond the superficial qualities often emphasized in Hollywood. Jennifer Marlowe became an enduring character, blending charm, wit, and intelligence in a way that had rarely been seen on television. Anderson's ability to maintain this standard while navigating the public eye demonstrates both professionalism and resilience. Anderson's journey from a struggling single mother in Minnesota to a national television star is remarkable, not only for the fame she achieved but for the obstacles she overcame along the way. Rejection, typecasting, personal hardship, and societal expectations could have ended her career before it truly began. Instead, she used each setback as a stepping stone, learning from every failure and adjusting her approach to match the opportunities before her. By the early 1980s, she was one of the most recognized women in entertainment, admired for her talent, appearance, and poise. Yet, behind the public admiration, there were personal struggles that would later unfold, revealing a life far more complex and heart-wrenching than audiences could have imagined. The period following her rise on WKRP in Cincinnati would expose a darker side of fame, one that intertwined romance, heartbreak, and controversy, reshaping Anderson's legacy in ways that remain poignant to this day. By the early 1980s, Loni Anderson had firmly established herself as a television star. She had won recognition for her skill and charm, with multiple Emmy and Golden Globe nominations highlighting her talent. However, alongside professional success, her personal life was entering a complicated and often painful chapter. After her divorce from Ross Bickle, Anderson remained focused on her career, balancing the pressures of fame with the responsibilities of raising her daughter, Deidre. Fame brought public attention, but it also attracted scrutiny and unwanted intrusion into her private life. Every relationship, every public appearance, and every interview became subject to gossip columns and media speculation. For someone who had spent years overcoming rejection and hardship, this attention could feel both validating and exhausting. Yet, Anderson remained determined to manage her life on her terms, confident in the abilities that had brought her this fame. In 1981, a turning point came when Anderson met Burt Reynolds on a television talk show. Reynolds was already a massive star in Hollywood, celebrated for his charisma, charm, and box office success. Anderson was initially cautious about revealing details, understanding that the disclosure of private hardships could have consequences for both her professional opportunities and her personal reputation. Yet, with time, she chose to share her experiences, both in interviews and in her memoir, My Life in High Heels. In these accounts, she discussed the emotional challenges she endured, including moments of fear, isolation, and uncertainty during her relationship with Reynolds. She revealed the pressures of living in a world where personal boundaries were often ignored, and where the desire to maintain a public image sometimes conflicted with the need for private safety and well-being. These revelations provided an unvarnished look at the difficulties she faced, offering audiences a deeper understanding of the human reality behind her celebrity persona. One of the most striking aspects of Anderson's story is how she balanced professional triumphs with personal turbulence. While her relationship with Reynolds ended in divorce, she continued to excel in her career, demonstrating remarkable resilience and focus. Her work on television continued to garner recognition, and she became an example of how women in Hollywood could navigate both professional success and personal adversity. The narrative of her life during this period is a powerful testament to the complexities of fame. Outward appearances of success and stability can mask profound challenges, while personal hardships can exist alongside professional achievements. For Anderson, continuing to act, maintain visibility, and uphold her personal standards of excellence was both a coping mechanism and a declaration of self-worth. It was a statement that, despite private difficulties, she remained a formidable talent who deserved respect and recognition. In the decades following these events, Anderson's story became more widely known. The public gained insight into the pressures she faced behind the scenes, the resilience she exhibited in her professional life, and the courage it took to speak openly about her struggles. Her experiences illustrate broader themes about the entertainment industry, particularly the challenges faced by women navigating fame, relationships, and personal boundaries. By sharing her story, Anderson provided not only a personal account of triumph and hardship, but also a cautionary tale about the hidden costs of celebrity. She demonstrated that even individuals who seem to have it all, beauty, talent, fame, may contend with challenges that remain invisible to the world. Through honesty, reflection, and continued professional excellence, Loni Anderson transformed her experiences into lessons of resilience and determination, ensuring that her legacy extended far beyond her iconic role on WKRP in Cincinnati. In the years following her relationship with Burt Reynolds, Loni Anderson continued to navigate a complex balance between her career, personal life, and public image. Though the height of her fame on WKRP in Cincinnati had passed, she remained a respected figure in television and film. Anderson took on various roles in television movies, guest appearances on popular series, and occasional film projects, demonstrating her adaptability and commitment to her craft. Each project, while sometimes smaller than her earlier iconic role, allowed her to explore different aspects of performance and maintain visibility in a rapidly changing entertainment landscape. She also participated in stage productions, combining her love of live performance with her experience in television. Through all of this, Anderson displayed a professionalism and resilience that many in Hollywood admired. She had endured personal hardship, public scrutiny, and professional challenges, yet she continued to approach her work with dedication and grace, proving that her talent extended well beyond the character that had made her a household name. Anderson's legacy is not defined solely by her acting achievements. She also became an important figure in highlighting the challenges faced by women in the entertainment industry, especially those navigating power imbalances, workplace expectations, and public scrutiny. Her experiences with unequal pay early in her career, her insistence on playing intelligent and multidimensional characters, and her courage in sharing personal struggles later in life provided valuable lessons to other actresses and aspiring performers. In interviews and public appearances, she spoke openly about her efforts to demand fair compensation for her work, negotiate effectively with studios, and maintain agency over her career choices. By challenging the industry's norms, she helped pave the way for more equitable treatment of women on and off screen. Anderson's advocacy was subtle but significant. Through her actions and words, she illustrated how talent, persistence, and courage could influence systemic change in Hollywood, even when confronted with deeply entrenched gender biases. Beyond professional advocacy, Anderson's story resonates because of the human element underlying her fame. Audiences who admired her as Jennifer Marlowe often did not know the struggles she faced behind closed doors, yet those experiences shaped her perspective and approach to life. From growing up in a smoke-filled Minnesota home to becoming a young single mother, enduring a decade of professional rejection, and managing a high-profile romance with one of Hollywood's most famous men, Anderson's life has been marked by resilience in the face of adversity. Her willingness to speak candidly about these experiences, long after the media spotlight had shifted elsewhere, offers a nuanced understanding of fame. It shows that celebrity success is often accompanied by hidden personal battles, and it underscores the importance of recognizing the person behind the persona. In sharing her journey, Anderson transformed what could have been merely a cautionary tale into an inspiring story of strength, perseverance, and authenticity. In addition, Anderson's influence extended to how audiences perceive women in media. Her portrayal of Jennifer Marlowe challenged stereotypes of the dumb blonde by combining charm, intelligence, and self-assurance. This role resonated because it offered a more empowered representation of women, highlighting competence alongside beauty. Her insistence on characters who were smart, capable, and multifaceted contributed to a broader shift in television portrayals, influencing subsequent generations of actresses and writers. Beyond her on-screen achievements, her personal narrative, her determination to maintain independence, to advocate for herself, and to overcome adversity, added depth to her public image. The combination of professional excellence and personal courage cemented her status as a cultural icon, ensuring that her contributions would be remembered long after the original broadcast of WKRP in Cincinnati. Today, the story of Loni Anderson serves as both a reflection and a lesson. It is a testament to the highs and lows of a life lived